Wednesday, all about Wealth Wednesday. We're going to talk about good debt versus bad debt. We're going to talk to one inspirational man composer making music for movies right here in Los Angeles, and another attorney and how she's helping people find their voice. And it's time. Time's up, right?
That's time. It really is.
The time is now. Speaking of the time, we've had some amazing music coming into the show. You may have picked up on those vibes. It's like I need a martini, not my coffee. That composer, Nima Fakari, is here in studio today. Good morning, Nima. We are so excited to have you here. Thank you for sharing your music with us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And Ariva, she is making it rain. Hi, I'm so excited. Yes, queen, right here. Exactly. We're just making it rain right now. Right now. I love it. So here at Good Morning La La Land, we'd like to know what your morning routine is. How do you start your day, Ariva?
I start my day with reflection. I wake up really early, probably around 4:35, and I do self-affirmations. I pray. I think about the day. Then I hit the streets. I'm a runner, so I lace up my tennis shoes and I walk outside my door and I start my morning run. So that's how I get my day started.
Ooh, I love that. Would you mind sharing one of those affirmations with us? It's something I'm trying to incorporate, and I don't even know where to start with it.
Yeah, I tell myself you're a beautiful and powerful woman, and you deserve every blessing that God has bestowed upon you. And when you receive those blessings, you're able to pay it forward and bless other people in your life. So I try to say that to myself a lot because sometimes we don't feel powerful, we don't feel beautiful, and we take for granted how what we do in our own lives can impact positively those around us. So I just try to remind myself of that.
Amen. If I remind myself of that and I can make it rain, sign me up. Nima, how do you start your day?
I pick out my socks. That's the first thing I do.
You pick out your socks? Yeah, okay, so my eye is on those socks right there, the pink socks. You keep them rocking.
I don't start my day at 4:30 in the morning. I usually wake up at around 10, 11. I'm a very late worker, so I wake up and just basically I like to be in silent as I just compose music basically all day. So for me, it's just kind of reflecting on the day before and just kind of starting the day, just seeing what the day kind of holds. It's mostly kind of just driving to my studio and just seeing what's going on, basically.
So interesting. You're one of our few guests who actually says, I work better at night. I'm more creative. I sleep in. And I relate to that so deeply. The morning show has made me a morning person. But it really is interesting about sometimes how the mind just, it works like that. We're not all wired the same way.
Yeah, I mean, it's like for me, it's just I can't function till probably 12, 1. So it's just, for me, it's just I like to not do anything till about then, and then I'm just on till about 9, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and then it's just done.
Nice. That's what the extra coffee is for, and the good music that'll get me going, right?
Exactly.
Looking forward to learning more about you guys and later in the show. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm a
Morning and night person. I'm like not a middle day person.
I get that. Siesta time during the day, right?
Siesta
yeah,
time.
Little European.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love that Erin's very committed to her nap. She's like 4 p.m., 1 hour, I take my nap.
It's a beauty rest.
Definitely,
Yeah,
for
good.
sure.
My mom calls it waking up naturally when she wakes up 11.
And it's such a rarity for her. She's just like, there's nothing better, honey, than waking up naturally. Isn't there? And you're so right. It's so nice to like just sleep in.
Says the man with 24 alarms.
He
If
says,
you ever look at Rob's phone, it's so funny. He's got an alarm set for like every 15 minutes. Doesn't that drive you insane?
Which one's which?
Yeah, they pretty much all have intentions. Like 3:15 is like, oh, I'll get up early. If I'm feeling good, I'll get up early and get out of bed. 3:30 is like, okay, probably should get out of bed. 3:45 is like, get out of bed. 4 o'clock is you're screwed up. Like, it's too late. So that's kind of the way it works.
Speaking of, like, we did not coordinate
The black thing.
No, we didn't.
Today. It was like, okay, it's a celebration.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
is. It feels
black
like
tie event here at Good Morning La La Land.
We're all
this
about
morning.
empowerment here, so.
Empowerment, one mind, one consciousness. We're so excited that it's Wealth Wednesday because there's been so many amazing things happening around what we're doing and building with the show, Business that is Focus TV, and Good Morning La La Land. Recently, we were picked up at Connect TV. Huge shout out to Ken Speakman. Thank you so much. We're now seeing on Apple TV and on Roku. And yesterday, shout out to Model Force TV. Thank you so much. I got slid into my DMs and they said, Good Morning La La Land is now on Model Force TV. So we're so excited that our message in our community is now being broadcast worldwide.
That's right. We're trying to make it rain. Rain with that distribution, baby.
It's really exciting, and if there are any kind of episodes or guests that you want to listen to again, you can listen to the Good Morning LaLaLand podcast, which is really, really exciting.
Wow, iTunes. So check it out.
Yeah, I mean, podcasts are kind of like the wave of the future, right? So we want to make sure that our message is spread out throughout the media community. So we're really excited about that. I recently started listening to podcasts myself, and I was introduced to how I built this, and it's a podcast for entrepreneurs. It's really actually incredible because they spend 45 minutes with some of the biggest and brightest brains in the entire world, and they really dissect how they build their empire.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's very, very well known. I've heard only good things, and everybody talks about that podcast.
So,
Oh yeah, the man who built the Dyson vacuum is like now my hero.
It's amazing sometimes just to hear the backstory.
Yeah, no, it really, really is. It's been very encouraging to have a different perspective, especially as a woman. Really realizing and recognizing I can build a business for myself. I don't have to just accept opportunity as it comes. I can create opportunity. I can be in business for myself, as Erin has done so successfully. So there's other events throughout LA that support women in business. There's one for us that's called Growth for Women on April 27th. If you want information about that, go to eventbrite.com. And I know Erin, you're involved in some of that as well, right?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I actually just saw, I don't know if it was on
Twitter or what, but they were talking about the pay difference and how even though we know and time's up and everything going on, that there's still like, now what do we actually do about it? Because it's not like it's going to shift just, you know, on its own. We have to make that happen. And so how do we make that happen? And I think it's the conversation is the most important thing for sure. Get involved in groups, and it's
in the conversation that miracles really happen.
Absolutely, or read books like this. How to use the media to revolutionize your business and your brand. It's all about like creating a personal brand for yourself now too, right? Like your LinkedIn profile has to be amazing. Your Instagram has to be amazing. You date off that, you work off that. It's incredible what your brand really is to your business.
Right? I was talking about how we need a UX company for
individuals, because it's really the user experience of how's the world experiencing you, because yes, it's your branding, but how are you in relationship, how are you in conversation, how do you present yourself from the clothes that you wear to, you know, the language that you're speaking. And it really is we have to like up our game and everything. And knowing that today is Wealth Wednesday, we know that the number one thing is health. Without health, we don't have wealth. And so just on that note, I just want to disclose a little bit that I've been going through some health issues. And it's interesting because I don't have the creative flow in business when my
health is not really good, and I actually just got some blood work back, and it's been fascinating because we don't know what's going on. I've got major low white blood cell count. I have major anemia. I have a bunch of stuff, and I'm going, whoa. I just take my health for granted, and I realize that over the last year or so, I've been watching my energy and my creativity going down in business. And I'm like, what's going on? And so we're going through. I'm going to keep you guys posted. We're doing lots of tests, changing things in my diet, supplements, blah, blah. But it's scary, you know. And if we don't have health, we really can't really even have that creative factor. That is just, we just take it for granted, really.
So appreciate you sharing that, Erin. Was there a red flag that tipped you off?
Well, I've gotten the flu. As you guys know, I had the flu last week. I had it 4 months ago.
I just don't get sick, you know, or if I get over it really fast. And so I've been wondering, like I've been telling my dad, also I've been feeling a little down, and I go, Dad, I don't know what's going on. And, you know, sometimes we think it's just all in the mind, and it is, but at the same time, our health can have the effect on our emotions. And so it's been interesting. So I'm like, what's going on? This isn't me. You know, I get little bumps here and there, but nothing to speak of. And we're looking at the potential when I went to India, it was a couple years ago, and the potential of parasites and things that can, you know, manifest in your body that take the nutrients out and begin to, you know, play out over some time. So we're going to figure it out. We don't know.
So tough, and you know, you're absolutely right. There's nothing more, very few things more important than health. Right. Health is really the foundation of our lives, and that's sort of, you know, without feeling and being healthy, it's hard to do anything really well, you know, because you don't have the energy,
right?
you just don't feel up to doing it, you don't have the clarity often. I have to say, Erin, amidst all of that, you always come with such clarity and such insight, and you always look so beautiful.
Oh, thank
so
you.
I'm hoping for a quick recovery.
Yeah. But it is interesting how when you restrict your energy, how, you know, it just, you
don't have that creative, that's one of our biggest blessings of this life, that creative factor that comes through in our business and in our wealth. So just knowing all of you that if you are dealing with anything health, you want to deal with that so that your wealth can prevail. So let's take a little break on that note. When we come back, we're going to talk about good debt versus bad debt. Very important to understand the difference. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm Jez Moye, co-host of Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show with my girl, Victoria Simone. What? This was This Week in La La Land. On Monday, we had Society Gale creator Jennifer Jaden. We also featured the Manifestation Babe, Catherine Zemkina, Tracy Tudor Maltas of the $1 Million Listing, and Ali Landry with Reshape, and of course, Mr. Mark Teschner, casting director of General Hospital, making our dreams a reality.
Thanks for tuning in to This Week in La La Land. I'm Victoria Simone. Jez.
It's going to be a good morning.
Bye-bye. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to This Week in Focus. My name is Victoria Simone, associate producer here at Focus TV Network, America's first live streaming daily talk show network, with my girl, Jez Moye.
Of Good Morning La La Land. Tell me, what was This Week in Focus?
So last week on the Focus TV Network, we had the Rose Girls with special guest Dana Ward. We had Live It with Tanya Memory, Robert Ferguson, and on that show was Jeannie Buss,
owner of the Lakers here in West Hollywood at the Focus TV studios.
Ali Landry came in and showed us some special hot, sexy red lips. Aside from our normal lineup, we had Good Morning La La Land, Jez, who was on that show.
Jennifer Jaden, creator of the Society Gal, the Manifestation Babe herself, Tracy Tudor Maltas of $1 Million Listing, and Mr. Mark Teschner, making dreams a reality on General Hospital.
Thanks for tuning in to This Week in Focus. Jez, thanks for helping me out.
I feel like we need it.
Oh yeah, you didn't even get to do it.
I had a moment where I said Good Morning America in my head.
Oh, I really didn't know we were going to film it today. I feel like you could see my nipples.
Russian cabbage soup.
No, just nipples.
Any excuse for me to invite those boys. For a short price of $7,995, you too
Can sit and chat with us. I guess. That was a really close guess. This is magic.
wardrobe change.
Wait, was it the wrong word?
You know who has an extra bed for me?
ABC! Andy, do we have a microphone?
There she is, get it! Ricky Rattle style.
Touch my hair.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show. We are so excited to be honoring #Wealth Wednesday here today with two very special guests. She is a SoCal super lawyer and author of Make It Rain, and Nima Fakare, a world-renowned composer. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, in talking about wealth, I'm wondering, what does true wealth mean to you, Ariva?
Well, you know, a lot of times people think of wealth as just about how much money you have in your bank account or your financial investments, but I think wealth is broader. I think about wealth as also being your health, your well-being, your state of mind, and ultimately your happiness, because we know that you can have all the money in the world and still be really miserable as a person. So when I think of wealth, I'm thinking about all those things that make you feel good about your life.
Yeah.
For sure.
Love it.
So beautifully said. Nima, what about you?
For me, it's comfort. No matter if it's from money, no matter if it's from whatever you're doing, as long as you're comfortable, that's, to me, as long as you're comfortable in your own skin, that's wealth. That's wealth in multiple ways of kind of looking at it, as you're mentioning as well. Again, it's just kind of as long as you're comfortable in your own skin, as long as you're comfortable in your own life, with your family, friends, significant other, that's the most important wealth you could ever kind of have.
Says the man with the best pink socks I've ever
He looks comfortable, fashionable and comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Just lean back.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you both so much for being here and sharing your stories with us. We're excited to talk to you more later in the show.
Right, so Wealth Wednesday, we're going to talk
About good debt versus bad debt. And that's just relative, right? Because we
know that good and bad is a relative thing. But from the perspective of building assets and building residual income or passive income or whatever your wealth and actual money in the bank, we want to talk about good debt versus bad debt. So I think that look, I'm not a financial advisor, first of all, so always we want to disclose. Please seek out your own financial advisor. I'm a doctor of divinity. I'm not a financial advisor, but I've studied wealth and leadership skills my entire life. I've been quite obsessed with it. So, what is good debt versus bad debt? So, it basically comes down to assets versus liabilities. So I know we've been in the car conversation a lot lately, but from a perspective of good debt versus bad debt, cars are liabilities. They are depreciated. They depreciate. So it means that they're bad debt. Versus
unless it's a classic car, which is
that's right, right?
Love it, Jess.
Versus like a real estate or something that generally goes up in value. We know real estate can go down in value in a bubble, things like that, in a bursting of a bubble. But generally, what is an asset versus liability, right? So if you put money on your credit card and you're going to debt to go buy clothes, that's not good debt, right? Versus leveraging and going, buying things that will go up in value.
Well, there's something to be said about self-investment, Erin.
And generating operating cost or loss because you're investing in yourself to be able to create the wealth. So, there might have to be a little bit of debt in there. I might be speaking from personal experience.
We did just learn that, right, with the startups. It's a completely different thing that you actually do want some debt of going in for having your evaluation of your company worth more money, right? It's a very advanced conversation around it.
I think Jez just graduated from student entrepreneur in high school to professor. It sounds that way, for sure.
Absolutely.
It's such a good point. I thought about this bad versus good debt a lot, and I think the traditional example for me has always been school loans, right? That's supposed to be a great example of good debt
because you're investing in something that's going to supposedly make you more money later. I have to say, however, that has not always been my experience. I have a couple of degrees, and one in particular I don't really ever use. It was just, so I consider it now pretty much just bad debt. It was an MBA.
Interesting.
But so I get the idea. And I think sometimes it's challenging though, because there seems to be some gray area sometimes.
Right? Oh, for sure. I mean, your ROI, return
on investment, right? For you to go to college is obviously, it's great. And, there's
different opinions as far as, is it good debt? People would maybe consider still that it's not good debt.
Meaning that it's not giving you leverage, okay? So leverage means that you're using other people's money, the bank money, whatever, and you're in that. So when, say, real estate goes up 4%, and you only have 10%
down payment on it, you now have the potential of major ROI on that investment, right? Versus a student debt, yes, you can look at it like it's good debt because it's a good value for your life. However, that's not going anywhere. You're not leveraging anything that's going up in value. That amount of debt is not going to be worth more money. Does that make sense?
Well, the ROI on my
Jimmy Choo definitely made me feel like $1 million when I walked into that job, and I got it. So
it's so interesting you say that, Jesslyn, because I'm convinced that, so I started out
as a management consultant, and the first management consulting job I got, I believe, had a lot to do with the watch I was wearing, because the woman that was interviewing me, she was a partner, she was loved watches, and I had a particular kind of watch that she recognized, like, wow, that's your watch? I'm like, yeah, it's my watch, it was a gift. And she's like, are you into watches? I'm like, I like watches. And she's like, huh. So we continued the conversation, and later I got hired. I'm convinced that was a good debt.
There's no question. The best investment you could ever make is in yourself, your consciousness,
and how you are presenting yourself to the world, for sure. We just talked about that.
We did just talk about that, yeah. I have friends that call it lifestyle marketing. It's lifestyle marketing. It's right?
I love that.
Yeah, it's lifestyle marketing. I think it's a little challenging too, particularly with the social media thing, because so much of it, I think, traditionally was just about marketing and advertising, and now it's sort of bleeding into your day-to-day life and selfies and all that. I wonder.
For sure, absolutely. But so to sum it up, it comes down to kind of three things, in my opinion, around this. So number one, when looking at good debt versus bad debt, you want to look at, are you buying an asset versus a liability? Number two, is it leveraging? Is your loan leveraging? Are you getting that loan because it's actually going to help you make more money on your money? And number three, I think that you always need to plan for a rainy day, meaning we need to know that there's going to be a burst in the bubble. There's going to be a downturn in any market, so you need to plan ahead and make sure that you're not over leveraging yourself or over having too much debt that will get you in trouble in hard times.
Speaking of rain.
Right?
Let's make it rain with a remark. When we come back, we have a very special interview with the author, SoCal super lawyer herself, Review Martin. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Hello, Los Angeles. I producer Alex Worley, filming inside Focus TV's West Hollywood studio. Welcome to Empowerista, a show dedicated to highlighting female trailblazers and empowering you to turn your barriers into breakthroughs.
Hey guys, I'm Amy Papra.
And I'm Justin Walter.
And this is What's Good, the show that's dedicated to positive, uplifting stories from all over the globe.
Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessica Moye.
And we're making history as the first live streaming daily talk show.
This is where all kinds of shit happens.
Monday through Friday, we are going to be streaming to you live, Los Angeles, at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Alyssa Goodman Show. So Kelly, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Alyssa. This is so fun.
I know.
What's up, Rose girls? I'm Jessica Carroll. Today we're gonna have so much fun because we have fitness personality Katie Austin.
Hey,
we're
thanks
having
for having me on.
with
Cheers.
Katie Austin.
I love it. It
Cheers.
feels like a Saturday.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Millennial Life. I'm your host, Laura Odegaard, and today we are joined by the very beautiful former Miss California and now a TV host, Natasha Martinez. I'm so happy that you're here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
You are tuning in to Slay with Rachel McCourt, and I have a fabulous guest. In studio with me is Liza Glukoff. She's just been named executive producer of programming at Awesomeness TV. I mean, no big deal, but huge. Hi.
Thank you. Hi.
Are we so excited right now?
We are so excited.
I mean,
Thank
we
you for
have
having me.
roses, we have perfect lighting, we've got some Spa Girl vodka in case we get a little crazy.
Hey, Dr. Erin here, teaching universal law and spiritual truth, having a conscious conversation in the heart of Hollywood. And I'm honored to have the guest today, who is Christina Pascucci, who is amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's an honor to be here with you. I so appreciate it.
Today on Moms Matter, we're going to talk about money, 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 something that we all struggle with and we need help with, and that's why we have the fabulous Winnie Sun, who's here with us today.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you so much. I know you've been on MSNBC and Forbes, and you are the money expert.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a new magical episode of Soul Reboot. I am your host, Allison Charles. Please welcome and meet this powerful divine queen whose name is Daphne Wayans. I am so happy to be here with you.
I'm so honored to be here.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We are so honored to have Ariva Martin, rainmaker, attorney extraordinaire, bringing everyone's voice to the world. How are you? Yeah.
Doing fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. And I know you are a very busy woman. How do you stay balanced? I mean, you're making it rain, you're a lawyer, you're an author.
You know, I talked earlier about my runs. My runs are really important to me. They help me feel, you know, energized. They give me the energy I need for this super busy schedule that I have, and particularly with the book now. I've been traveling a great deal. I have 10 or 12 different cities I've been going to as a part of this Make It Rain tour. But I think exercise, try to eat healthy, cheat a little. Just cheat a little. Just cheat a little. You know, surround yourself with good people, positive people. They, you know, help energize you. So that's how I think I keep it all balanced. And some days, let's face it, it's not balanced. Right?
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about making it rain. First of all, obviously you have American colors on here, which is a very, I mean, it's very poignant in a time in history what's going on. And you talk about basically how to use media to basically have a voice. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you know, I'm a TV talk show host and commentator, and I spent about 2 years, I think, on cable television and network television talking about police brutality and what was going on in some cities around this country with policing. And people started reaching out to me saying, hey, these are issues I care about. How can I jump into these conversations? How can I have a voice on these issues? And I found myself writing a lot of emails and responding to people. And I said, you know, maybe I need to just share what I know about how I've used the media to be a part of conversations that are important to me and to promote things that are important to me. And that was really the impetus for the book. And since I've been an entrepreneur all my life, my publisher and I decided to make the book broader. So although it speaks to those activists and advocates who were originally speaking to me, it also is for the business owner, the entrepreneur, the person that, you know, has a product or a service that they want to promote to a larger audience. You know, how do you take your voice? How do you first find your authentic voice? Because that's the first step.
Right.
And then grow your platform in a way that allows you to connect with people that your voice resonates with. That's what Making It Rain is all about.
Just incredible. I love that, you know, and such a beautiful cover, but beautiful book inside and out, like you. And I wonder, you know, what tips might you have for people that, like you, want to make it rain and they want to use media as an instrument to do so?
Well, first, like I said, you have to find your voice. What is your voice? And there's a lot of noise out there. So as you all know, this show is on social media, and there's a lot of noise on social media. So you've got to have an authentic voice that resonates with people, because otherwise it gets lost. So I take people through an exercise in the book in terms of how they find their voice, looking at their prior experiences, their educational background, and ultimately their passion. Because for your voice to be authentic, it has to come from a place, of, you know, a real place inside of you. It has to be that thing that makes you want to get up every morning and you know, pursue it, because if not, people are really savvy, you know, on social media. They can peep whether someone is really authentic or not. So I take you through that exercise, and then I help you figure out where are the people that are most likely to resonate, you know, with you, who are going to connect with you, who want to follow you. And, you know, using some of those exercises help you ultimately grow your platform.
Ariva, I'm wondering, how did you personally find your voice?
It happened for me. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids, and my youngest son, Marty, was diagnosed with autism. And although I was a lawyer and I'd been practicing for many years before his diagnosis, it was really his diagnosis that I think helped me crystallize my voice as an advocate. I was devastated, like a lot of parents, when I learned of my son's diagnosis. And quickly I had to go from that place of devastation to this place of advocacy, where I had to, you know, figure out this complex system of care and get him the best education and medical resources. And in doing so, I met so many other parents who were on a similar struggle to find the best in care for their kids. And it was through that process of helping those other parents, helping my own son, that I realized that there were people who, you know, were voiceless in this autism community, particularly in low-income communities, communities of color. And so I found myself speaking out for those communities and being the voice for them. And that's when I think I really understood the power of media and the power of using your voice to help people outside of even your own local communities. So now I speak nationally about autism and related causes. I've raised millions of dollars for autism and related causes. So I think for me, that was probably that crystallizing moment.
So I have a question, because I feel like as a Doctor of Divinity, knowing universal law and knowing that what we put out there has to come back. And a lot of the issue with some of the movements right now is that making others wrong, it's just a big cycle. It's a big vicious cycle that's going to make us wrong back, and it's just going to make the cycle prevail. So my question is this, is if I want to have a voice in the world, but have it in a positive sense, how do I do that? Because most people just like drama, let's face it.
Entertainment is drama, and if we don't have drama, then it's not going to necessarily be heard, but yet we don't want to have the drama, because there's not a true authentic voice.
Well, first of all, Doctor, you're already, you know, exuding such positivity, right? And you're an example of how you can have a voice. You're on this talk show, you're talking to millions of viewers every day, and you're speaking to them about something really positive. So I agree with you that a lot of people do like drama, but there are a lot of really positive people like yourself, like all of you, who are doing great things and using the media in a positive way. So I don't buy into that you have to be, you know, the person that's throwing stuff and calling everybody, you know, a bitch or whatever. I think you can, you know, talk about things that are important, talk about raising people up, lifting people up, and being the person in that room, the sane person, you know, the person that is exuding positivity. And I think you're going to find a lot of people who that message will resonate with. Obviously, you guys have, and I think lots of other people can do the same.
Amen to that. We received that fully.
It's a beautiful thing to have community. I'm wondering who lifts you up? Who raises you?
Well, my family, I have this amazing family. We're really close because we are not only related by blood, but we also run several businesses together. My daughter's now my business manager. So if I want to write a check, I have to write her email.
That's
and she's
great.
like, Mom, your account is getting low. And I'm like, okay, your daughter, not my business manager today.
That's right.
Don't tell me how to spend my money. but I'm really fortunate. I have this really close family, and we lift each other up. We have our little family text group, and we have to have a good, we started this thing of a good news report because my husband was adamant, we always want, what's wrong in our day. We're going to start telling each other every day something that happened positive. So throughout the day, someone will text something like, hey, I just got a, A on my kids are in college, I just got an A on, my report I wrote, or my paper, or I'm on a book tour. So yesterday I got an order for 300 books. I'm going to speak to this bank. They want me to do a big teleconference with them, and they're going to purchase 300 of my books in advance. I'm like, hey, I just sold 300 books. And all I have to do is get on a 30-minute telephone call from my pajamas at home. So that's what So we just try to share those positive things. In the midst of all the stressful things from being a business owner that happens, and there are lots of stressful things that happen, and we just try to cut through some of that and focus on some of the good things that are happening.
Oh, I think that's so vital, especially in the family dynamic, because so often, even in conversations I have personally with my family, it's just, oh, everything that's wrong. And then my mom will start worrying, and then she'll tell my dad. And then, it's a vicious cycle. To be able to really celebrate positivity in the family dynamic is priceless.
Yeah, we do. We just we like your family, there's a lot of moaning and whining going on too sometimes, but we just made a point on this group chat to share something positive that's happening. And maybe it's like families used to get together for dinner. You remember, everyone
now we get together for
text. It doesn't happen anymore because our lives are so busy. So now it's the group text that's replaced the family dinner where we share information.
I love that. So I want your viewpoint on Time's Up and Me Too movement. What do you think's going on? How can people, step up their game and make it happen?
Well, you guys mentioned that I'm a lawyer, so I spent most of my legal career being a civil rights attorney and representing women actually who have been involved in sexual harassment lawsuits, and I've been really out front in the Me Too movement. I've written a lot about it. I've talked a lot about it on television, and it's something really personal to me because I myself have been slut shamed. Which is not the same as someone who's been abused or harassed. I want to make sure that I'm clear about that. But there is something I think that happens to a lot of women, from being slut shamed to actually being physically assaulted. And the movement draws attention to that. And even beyond that, I had an opportunity to speak to 400 CEOs at one of my speaking events. And they were trying to figure out how can they, as CEOs, change the climate in their country, in their companies. So for me, the Me Too movement is about making the workplace safe, but it's also about addressing the issues of the imbalance of power. Because we know that in order for workplaces to really be safe, we've got to deal with women who still make less than men for the same jobs. We just had Equal Pay Day yesterday, where we highlighted and raised awareness about the inequities that still exist in wages. We have to talk about the lack of women, particularly women of color, in the C-suite. So there are all of these things that, to me, relate to the ultimate issue of sexual harassment that this movement is shining a light on. And we've made a lot of progress, but there's so much more progress to be made. And I think these conversations, whenever we have an opportunity to have them, allow us to continue to raise awareness about these issues and hopefully start to change. Legislatively, we've seen some changes happen, and I think the culture, changing the culture that exists in some of these workplaces.
There's been so much positive momentum in conversations through this movement, but there also has been a lot of negativity in it.
Yeah, there's been backlash. Some people say it's gone too far. It's not fair. What about the due process of the men? And I'm sensitive to a point to some of those points that people were making. But the reality is, this is a real issue, and we thought 25 years ago when Anita Hill testified on live TV during the Clarence Thomas Senate confirmation hearings that we were going to make huge changes. And if you look at what happened over the last 25 years, we haven't moved the needle that far.
No.
So
a little bit.
Yeah, we moved it a little,
bit.
but there's still so much. I mean, the fact that we still have to have equal pay day, that's just mind-boggling to me. That you and I, equally qualified. I heard you talk about all of your degrees. So you and I have all of these degrees. That we can go into the workplace, and you can make more money than me just because of your gender. Not because of your skills, qualification, or education, but just because of some of these entrenched negative stereotypes. Oh, he's a man, he's got a family to support. As if I don't have a family to support. So those are some of the stereotypes that we're still trying to break through in this country.
I want to thank you so much, first of all, for sharing that, but also for all the work that you've done for civil rights. Just incredible. Deeply grateful for you, to you for that. And I think there are a lot of men, of course, that they deeply and authentically want to support women in this, and I know I do. I've got a mom, I've got a sister, all my best friends are women. It's just, the way I've always rolled. And I want to, sort of ask you about that. Like, how can men, whether they're in the corporate space or not, support women in this movement without being
love them, by the way.
No, and that's a great question, and I love that question, Rob, because when I was talking to those CEOs, a guy stood up. He says, "Hey, I just want you to know, I'm a card-carrying feminist. I love my mom, I love my sisters, and what can I do?" And here's what I told him, and I'll tell you. You often are going to be in those rooms. You're going to be in those C-suites. You're going to be in important conversations place around hiring, around promotion, and retention of women. And that's where we need your voice. We need you when they're saying, well, if you're pregnant in this workplace, I don't know if this is a good place for you to work. We need you to pipe up and say, oh, wait a minute. Being pregnant doesn't make someone, unqualified to be in this job. And to the contrary, no, we want women who have kids in this workplace because moms have unique points of views and they can help enrich the culture in this workplace. So those are the things that men can do instantly, because oftentimes we won't be in those rooms. We won't be at the table when those decisions are being made. But when you're there and your peers are there, your colleagues, your boys are there, we need them piping up saying, no, this isn't fair to the women. And we need to make sure they're getting paid the same, they're getting the same promotional opportunities, and that this workplace reflects, the demographics of this country and the power that women have.
What can we, as women, do, Ariba, to help the men like Rob?
Beat him over the head.
Yeah, he's worked my whole life. This is what happens.
Yeah, I think these conversations, I think these are important conversations that we as women have to have with our brothers, with our fathers, with the men in our lives, because I do know a lot of men care deeply about these issues and they do want to do something, but they don't know exactly what to do. So I think we as women can encourage them. If your co-worker, your co-worker is you're getting all the plum assignments and you're watching her, get the dog assignments. What are you doing to say to the supervisor, Mary, I got, the last 5 trips to Paris. And Mary's going to Champaign, Illinois. So what's up with that? Why is Mary going to Boise and I'm going to Paris? Last I checked, we had the same job. So it's sometimes just making the point that should be obvious, that's not so obvious, just making that point. I think it's a really simple thing.
So where can people find you?
You can find me all over social at Ariba Martin. You can find my book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, independent bookstores throughout this country. It's everywhere. It was released on March 20th, and I'm so excited. It's already hit several bestsellers list. And like I said, I'm on this tour. I'm headed to New York. Monday, I'll be with the United Way of New York City and the Coach store at Columbus Circle doing an event with about 250 rainmakers and influencers in New York. We're going to be talking about women and branding and how women can, continue to elevate their voices. So that's my next stop. Is New York.
Well, such important work. For sure, always, and just really a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you,
nice.
guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping us make it
so
rain.
Much. That's right.
Making it rain. Keep it raining.
So when we come back, you guys want to talk to one man about composing music right here in Los Angeles and what that's like. So excited to hear his story. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
welcome to the Focus TV studios in West Hollywood. I'm Jessamine Moyer, host of the Focus TV network show, LA Unscripted, and co-host of America's first live streaming talk show, Good Morning La La Land. This is the Focus Magazine preview show and an exclusive sneak peek. Today, I have the privilege to announce the March 2018 issue of Focus Magazine, and we're calling it the Influence issue, featuring amazing personalities making a difference in our local communities. On the cover, we have singer-songwriter and host of Chasing Glory podcast, Lillian Garcia. I had the extreme honor of both interviewing her and writing a feature for the magazine on Lillian. She's truly an influencer on so many levels. Joining her on the cover is my spiritual influencer and co-host of Good Morning La La Land, Dr. Erin Haskell. And with her is a true professor of influence, Amanda Russell. Also featured in this issue, we have the constructional chef, Scott Harris, executive chef from the Four Seasons Hotel right here in Beverly Hills, Byron Thomas, and two members of the Focus TV family and dynamic duo of lifestyle influence, Janet Gunn and Melissa Myers. Also in this issue, we feature Lauren Everts, the founder of the Skinny Confidential, hello gorgeous, and the candle makers Elise Fratto and Maylene Weber of Leone Candeli, which is of course right over there. And Cynthia Abbey Naked, who I interviewed for my show LA Unscripted, and she is the founder of a great piece of functional jewelry from the Coley Collective. We also have a celebrity chef, Serena Poon, and her new product, Just Add Water, and a series of 4 mom influencers from our millennial mom herself, host Jenna Barnett. It's all influence, influence, influence in this issue of Focus Magazine. Get your copy today on newsstands or online, and be sure to watch our companion video features as well, because we are the only magazine in the country providing a robust video complement to our print features. I'm Jessamine Moyer, coming to you from the Focus TV studios in West Hollywood. Thanks for watching. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. It is such an incredible honor to be sitting next to this world-renowned composer, Nima Fakara. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Love the socks, love the socks.
Thanks.
It's all
about the socks.
So what become a composer? Like, we're thinking about, we're like, would you just like be born a genius, or how does this happen?
No, not really, I wish. No, I actually grew up playing Persian classical music, of all things, and then I moved to LA and wanted to kind of just make money in music somehow. Wanted to be a concert musician for a while, and then I realized there's no money in it, so I just decided I wanted to be a film composer.
And now with over 59 credits on IMDb,
yes.
We've listened to your work and rocked out to it on Resident Evil. I mean, stacks on stacks of credits.
It's fun. It's like I try to be a chameleon in all different ways. I work pretty much on non-stop actually, and I just kind of try to do everything and anything that I like doing, and I just kind of do it. It's just fun for me. Yeah.
It's so interesting, and what I love about your story is that you did follow your bliss, and I think that takes a whole lot of trust.
It does, and it also takes a lot of support as well. My parents especially kind of supported me, and just to say, just do it, and also they wanted me to be a doctor as well, but that's a different story.
You were born in Iran?
Yes.
At what point did you come to the States?
I came to the States in '96, winter of '96. I lived in Maryland for a while. I kind of grew up in Maryland. I'm an East Coaster by heart, but it was like one of those things that I just kind of LA just kind of dragged me, and it just pulled me here, and I just stayed for a while.
In a really interesting way, I feel like even though you're a composer, I feel like you are a doctor. You're so surgical with it, first of all, right? And you also, I find music to be one of the most healing. It's one of the most healing elements, I think. For you, is music that thing that you've always sort of turned to when you're having tough times, or has it been healing for you?
It's interesting. Music for me is it's multiple things. As I was explaining, I like silence, but then there's this kind of a little kind of glimmer of hope at all times that you could just kind of come back to any sort of music, and it just kind of gives you this any emotion you're kind of seeking, if you will. As far as for me, writing and just kind of being like, okay, I feel sad, let me just write a sad piece, it doesn't work for me that way. It's just kind of, I rather listen to somebody else doing a sad piece than just kind of doing that. So for me, again, it's just kind of, music is this, I I guess it's a second nature to me. It's just what I've loved doing, and I've done it forever. It's just kind of another language for me.
How would you describe that language? What is your style?
It's color for me. It's all about color. Just even instrumentation of everything that I do is, it's all about the colors that I kind of just paint on my canvas. It's like if I use a violin or a cello or a percussion or a synthesizer, it's all kind of just what is going to be the palette work of it.
So do you first
Sure.
do you look at the movie and you know, see what the story's about and then get inspiration, or do you have inspiration and then you bring particular
Well,
pieces?
for me, it's a little bit of everything. I like reading the script first and then just kind of seeing where it kind of takes me, but it's also just kind of depends on the workflow. If the director comes and says, let me show you the film before you do anything, and that's the way that it works. It all depends on the workflow.
It's so interesting. I am very deeply interested in people that are creative, and I've never felt particularly creative, you know. So I've read a lot about sort of creative folks and how they get into that vortex, so to speak. When are you at your creative best?
2 o'clock in the morning.
Is it? Yeah.
It is. It's really interesting because like sometimes my wife hates it, but like I wake up in the morning, I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm just whispering into my phone, and she's like, "Go back to bed," and I'm like, "All right, fine, whatever." But recently I've had to actually train myself not to do that, to wake up that early and just kind of do something about it.
Really?
So, yeah.
Do you think there are certain moods that allow you to be more creative than others? I mean,
I try not to do that. I try to make it just like whatever the, I guess more or less the film or project kind of relates to me, and just whatever it requires, I try to do that. It's not, I try to be a chameleon because I try to keep my creative thoughts just going. So, like right now I'm working on a romantic comedy. Next week I'm starting a horror thriller. So it's like, it's just, I go back and forth, and it's just fun to do that.
So what do you look for in the projects that you choose?
Something special, something that I like working on, something that actually have a little bit of something that I could bite onto, something that I could do something unique. I like to create my own instruments, so for me, it's just like if I have the choice of doing that, then it's fun to do that.
You like to create your own instruments?
Yes.
What does that even mean?
It's a rabbit hole I've went down a long time ago, and it's hard to come out of. It's a color thing. It's like a color I think of, and then I just build the instrument that I think it could work. So.
Wow, so much better than the rabbit holes I find myself in.
These rabbit holes you do not want to go down.
And they result in these incredible blockbuster movies, you know, these incredible works of art. I mean, I just find that so interesting.
It's fun, yeah.
The music industry has taken a big hit, obviously,
Sure.
you know, some years back especially. And I know a lot of people in the music industry, and they've gone all towards film because it's really one of the only ways you can make money in the industry. What do you see happening with the music industry?
It's a very refreshing, actually. It's like you could see anyone that actually has an iPhone is a filmmaker, technically, quote unquote. They could shoot a film, but they're not a filmmaker. It's the same thing you're seeing with a lot of DJs, rock, pop artists trying to go into the film world. A great director says, Christopher Nolan says, it's not about your first film, it's about your second film. So I always look at it that way. It's like, yes, if you are able to write your first film, good for you. Good luck on your second one. That's the biggest. That's the biggest one.
Is that what it was like for you? Like you composed your first movie, and
oh,
then
absolutely.
It was like, good luck on the next.
Oh, absolutely. It's like the hardest thing to get is your second gig, because your first one, it just kind of sometimes falls on your lap. The second one is like, oh, what do I do now? What do I got to do? Who do I hire? Who do I kind of work with? Who is my publicist? Who's my agent? So it's always that, and it always takes that time of like proving them again that I could do it. So it's the same thing with the DJ. You could see right now, and there's a lot of amazing DJs and artists. Like look at Daft Punk. They're very successful. They were very successful in what they did. They did Tron, Oblivion, and they're just doing amazing stuff.
So what was it about you, looking back, that got you the next gig?
I just
59
wanted
gigs
it.
later.
I just wanted
desire.
I don't know if I could curse, but I'm just a persistent asshole, and just in every way you could think of. My wife will tell you that. I got her the same way. I'm just a really persistent person, and just if I want something, I just go get it.
Where do you think you learned that from?
I have no idea. I have no idea. It's just I don't know. It's just maybe just I've always liked to be the underdog and just wanting to just kind of get something, just be better than whatever.
I'll show you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, proving people wrong, I guess.
What's been the hardest part of your journey?
The hardest part of the journey has been just kind of, quote unquote, being a minority in the industry. And it's had its battles, and it's it's also had his good things about it. But it's just been that. But then I've been fortunate enough to have a staff of great people, great publicists, great managers, and great agents that to have to be able to just kind of support me in that sense. But we all deal with it. So it's just kind of it's just that, yeah.
Any tips or advice you have for people that want to do something?
Don't do it.
Similar? Don't do it. Right now, just stop. Turn around.
No. It's if you have the passion for it, you got to start early. It's really difficult to start later in life. But if you want it enough, just go and do it. That's what I tell every filmmaker, every one of my friends, every intern that comes into my office, studio, anyone that comes in. I'm just like, if you really want it, if you have the passion for it, make sure you have the support system. Just go out there and just take care of it. Kind of just basically just do it.
Love that.
Yeah.
So powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
Again, for being here
Thanks.
with us.
Thanks for having me.
How can people listen to your work besides obviously the 59 credits? Is there a place we can direct them?
Sure. My website, nimafilmmusic.com. I'm on Twitter, Instagram. All my whatever the handles are, Ostad Nima, O-S-T-A-D Nima. Pretty much all over the place. You can just type Nima and you'll find me.
And what's next for you?
Next for me, there's an announcement coming out tomorrow. Yeah, I can't talk about it too much, but I'll be at Tribeca with an awesome documentary called Roll Red Roll with Nancy Schwartzman directed, and it's an awesome, very, very important documentary about the Ohio State football team rape case and how kind of Anonymous came about and just kind of put that into focus. So it's really awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Lucky
so much.
to be
We're
involved.
excited to continue to follow and listen to your journey.
Of course.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more on Good Morning La La Land. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We are celebrating #Wealth Wednesday with two very special guests, Nima Fakara, world-renowned composer and author of Make It Rain, Ariva Martin. Thank you both so much for being with us today.
Of course.
Thank
We're
you.
all
Like in these dark colors. It's like, I don't know what happened, but
powerful.
Everyone's really powerful and happy around here, though.
Well, and we've got a couch full of rainmakers ready to do a little rain dance. You know,
Yes,
it's appropriate for
yes,
this.
yes.
I'm wondering, when you do have something to celebrate in your wealth and you want to make it rain, what do you do for yourself?
I travel a lot. I just came back from Paris. I go everywhere. I just like seeing new places.
What's next on your bucket list?
We want to go to Vietnam.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I just drink champagne. It's not nearly as exciting. Not nearly as exciting as traveling. Yeah, I love champagne, so I celebrate with good champagne.
The fly with the spirits.
Spirits help you do
Yeah.
the flying, yeah.
That's right.
Spirit air, different kind of spirit air. Yeah.
I love a good glass of champagne. There's something about like just sipping.
The crisp.
The crisp,
the bubbles.
it's luxurious.
Where do you live? Where do you reside?
I live in Los Angeles.
Right here? In which area?
Hancock Park.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Roughing it over there.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. No, it's quick, easy access to the studio, so very convenient downtown Beverly Hills West Side. So
right.
What do you love most about living in Los Angeles?
The weather.
Right.
I'm from the Midwest. I grew up in St. Louis. I lived in Chicago. I lived in New York. And I came here for the summer to work. And I had no plans of ever living here. I thought everyone in LA was like completely crazy.
LaLa.
And yeah, LaLa. And if you're in the Midwest, you think, oh, those people, you're like, you know, in a whole different continent almost. And I came for a job. I said, oh, I'll just come work. And oh my God, did I not just fall in love with the weather? Like not having to wake up and change your plans because a nor'easter is coming or 12 inches of snow are expected. I mean, that really just your mood, your attitude, when you wake up to sunshine every day.
I don't think there's anywhere else in the country that has the, you know, the environment here. We're very, very fortunate.
Rob will beg to differ. He's a Miami guy.
I love Miami. I love Miami. I love the bi-coastal thing, you know. But I've grown to love Los Angeles for so many reasons, just like you mentioned. I think part of it too is that it's so much, it's incredibly livable in Los Angeles. Whereas in Miami sometimes the heat's so oppressive that you don't want to leave the house.
Okay, Rob, the rain. Like, what's up in Miami? You're walking down the street, it's bright, it's sunny, your hair is looking good, and then all of a sudden it's torrential rain. You got to duck into a building or something. And they said, don't worry, just wait 30 minutes, it'll stop.
Yeah, well, they know Arriva just flew right over top of Miami and rain pour, rain dance for the rainmaker.
I had to get used to that. That was really a little startling for me. But,
it's so true. It's one of the things about Miami that I always both loved and was challenged by is that it will rain out of the clear blue sky.
Yes.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I like cleans it all out.
Yeah.
What about you, Nemo? What do you love about LA?
I love the ease of living. Yeah, you could just travel anywhere. I love my car too. It's just that's the other thing. It's
what do you listen to in your car?
I don't listen to anything. As I was saying, it's like I don't listen to anything.
Oh, you and I could be buddies. I hate
I don't
noise
listen
in
to
my
anything.
car.
It's like there was a time that when I moved from New York to here with my wife likes to listen to radio, and I was like, this is not going to work. So we just basically started driving separately.
I do have a recommendation. Now you can listen to the Good Morning LaLaLand podcast.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Your commute. Give her something to listen to.
Yeah.
We are Good Morning LaLaLand, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
It's a great day. Have a good day, you guys. Enjoy this beautiful weather out there. Wherever you are in the world, it's a Wealth Wednesday. Reclaim your health and go have at it. Have a great day.
Let the sunshine make it.